Herr Schwarzbaum, wie sehr
Mr. Schwarzbaum, how does the time you spent at Auschwitz affect you today, 70 years on?
beeinflusst diese Zeit immer noch Ihr Leben, auch 70 Jahre danach?
Mir hat man mein Leben zerstört.
My life was destroyed. It was completely destroyed. 35 people in my family were killed in a single day.
Hast du Glück?
In Auschwitz, if you were lucky, you lived. If not, you died.
Älter wird
Today, now that I'm older,
und
it all comes back to me with enormous force.
Kraft auf mich zu.
Was erinnern Sie
What do you remember about that time?
Nackte Menschen auf dem
A truck filled with naked people,
ohne
a truck with no roof. And the people cried,
weinten,
screamed,
schrien,
raised their hands up towards the sky,
so
as if they expected help from God.
von lieben Gott
That's what I saw.
erwartet.
And this image is still with me today.
Und das hat auf mich bis heute habe ich das Bild immer präsent.
Es gibt ja einige, die in Auschwitz Dienst getan
There are
haben.
some people who served in Auschwitz, SS men, who say they initially had no idea what was going on there and that people were actually being killed.
Menschen umgebracht werden.
Do you believe that's possible?
Ist das aus Ihrer Sicht möglich?
Unmöglich. Unmöglich.
Impossible.
Vorstellen muss,
You have to imagine there was fire coming out of the chimneys.
so ein Feuer. Nicht kein Rauch, sondern Feuer.
Not smoke, but fire.
Das
And the stench was unbearable.
Roch. Unerträglich.
There was always something coming out of the 5 chimneys. And at night, you could see the fire coming out.
Rauchten immer. Und nachts sah man dieses Feuer aus den Schornsteinen. Da kann mir kein SS
No SS man can claim he didn't know what was going on.
abgespielt hat.
They all knew what was happening.
Die wussten alle, was los war. Alle.
Wie beurteilen Sie die Rolle
In your
von
view, what role did men such as Oskar Gröning or the men on trial now play in the system at
das,
Auschwitz?
was damals in Auschwitz passiert ist?
Ein SS-Mann war an der Rampe, als meine Eltern da angekommen sind.
One SS soldier was on the ramp when my parents arrived.
Ich denke, ich habe ein Bild
It still gets to me now.
was
I remember this scene
dass meine Mutter
where my mother and father stood in front of him.
standen. Das waren kleine Rädchen.
They were small cogs, but they kept the larger wheels in motion. That's how you have to see it.
Bewegung gehalten. Das muss man so
Admittedly,
Die sind heute
they might be
vielleicht
different
andere
people
Menschen
now
geworden.
than they were back then,
Zugegeben.
but they have to be held accountable for their crimes.
Mord verjährt nicht,
It's not about whether they go to jail.
dass sie ins Gefängnis kommen.
For me, it's about getting them to tell the truth about what they did.
Was sie damals angetan haben.
Ist das aus Ihrer Sicht eher eine qualvolle Pflicht, die Sie damit übernehmen?
Is it a
diese
painful
Geschichten
duty for you,
anderen zu erzählen und
telling
zu
these
erzählen
stories to others and reliving them over and over?
vergegenwärtigen, oder macht es eher
Or does it help you to be able to talk about it
endlich
and to
darüber
know
reden
that
kann,
people are
dass
listening?
Leute einem zuhören?
Ich erachte das als meine Pflicht,
I consider it my duty to talk about this as long as I
zu
live.
erzählen.
The dead cannot do this.
Toten können das nicht. Ich gehe
I visit schools and talk about what I experienced. I do that a lot.
häufig. Bin häufig in Schulen.
Wie erleben Sie das
What is your
Deutschland
view of Germany today? Can we be certain that something like what happened in Auschwitz will never be repeated?
wiederholt?
Bin ich mir nicht sicher, muss ich Ihnen ehrlich sagen.
Honestly, I must say,
Entwicklung so sehen.
I'm not sure.
Die Rechtsradikalen,
When I see what's happening, the rise of the radical right
politische Richtung,
and the direction of politics, I can't be sure that something like this will never happen again.
das nun
But it's taking place again and again around the world in different forms.
wieder in anderer Form in der Welt. Nicht? Und dann die ganzen Kriege,
If you look at all the crises and what's going on,
wenn man so sieht, was
it's
alles in
enough
der
to
Welt
make you a
passiert,
skeptic.
kann man Skeptiker sein.